And here we go. Let's do it. Alright, hello. My name is Alex Hunter. I'm an author from the land of cicadas. You can clearly hear. I thought about closing the window, but I like the sound. Maybe somebody else will too. So if you don't like the sound of bugs and whatever else in my background, you'll have to wait until my setup improves. But for the time being, I think they're nice company. So, like I said, I'm an author. I have a book coming out this December. I've been working on it for the past couple of months. And this is me generating ideas for what I'm going to write next. And it all starts off with these small little snippets, 250 to 500 words, that just get me back in the practice of picking the first thing that comes to mind, of really opening myself up to the ideas that come in without judging them, without making edits in this first pass, getting that pen on the paper. So what I do is I come up with two categories. I just brainstorm things that will fill up my list, and then I make word connections and then pick something to write about. That gives me a variety of things and contrasts to develop a story from. So I want to talk real quick about the book that's coming out in December. I was really excited to order my author proof copies to start looking at it, and then I was going to send to some early readers to get their feedback. But unfortunately, I opened it up, read the first chapter, and oh my god. It was especially the first part of the first chapter, which I rewrote a couple of times. And I thought I had it settled and ready to ship. Opened it up, started reading the first 5 pages, and I just needed to tear the thing apart. I mean, the structure is good, the content is what I want it to be, but it just needed a lot of work in tightening everything up, making sure everything made sense, connecting the front to the back. Missed a capitalization in the spot. There's a weird comma here. The tense was not correct. Part of that was in my latest run of edits, I totally rewrote it, right? So it didn't get the same 3, 4 passes, 5 passes that everything else in the book got so far. So I guess it was expected probably, and I should have gone over and done another big total read before getting the proof copies, because now I have 3 copies of books, 1 for me and 2 for my early readers, that are incorrect, that need to be fixed. So now I'll have 2 that I just put in a closet somewhere because I don't want anybody to read that, right? And so when I think about what I'm going to give those early readers, I want it to be the best possible book that I can put in front of them. I want to make their job as easy as possible. In the job that I ask them to do is, just give me feedback. Don't be nice. Be brutal if you have to, but help me make this into an even better version of what I'm giving to you. But if I give them something half-baked, something that does not flow in the first 2-3 pages and draw them in, then I'm doing a disservice to them, myself, and the work. So if you're one of those early readers, just hold on. I'm doing a full final little edit check here, and it's mostly small sanding, just correcting a little thing here or there. I'm doing about a chapter a day, and it's going well. There's pages where I have no edits. There's other ones where it's a little more heavy, like I said in the beginning of that chapter, where I had to rewrite it. Didn't get the same number of passes as the prior ones, or the later ones rather. But yeah, we'll get there, right? That's the thing I keep in mind. It's all about the small steps, moving slowly but consistently. That's how the book ended up being 400 pages. I might shrink the text size just to match what I think is more expected, but I'm not locked in on that yet. That's a nice part about getting a proof of the book too, is you start to read it like a book and not like a Word document or a printed out Word document on a piece of paper. I feel like my expectations once I'm holding the book are a lot higher. So if you feel like you're close to publishing your novel, I would definitely suggest getting a paper-proof copy before just uploading it straight to Kindle or Amazon and having them, publish the paperbacks and print, because you definitely see it in a totally different light. At least I do. And yeah, it was really helpful to have that. So as I'm working through it, I'm excited to get it done and finished. I mean, there's edits I had on the cover, there's edits I had on the back cover, there's edits I had on the copyright page, just, a whole list of things that I wouldn't have known until I got it in my hand, which I'm thankful for the process, right? Because it's getting me closer to that final copy that I can be confident about selling on my Amazon page, right? So I hope you look forward to it when it comes out. I think it's a great book, but it just needs that little polish. So here I go. You can see I made my word associations. I'm picking out the one I like the best for a story. This grocery store rebellion idea at the top, that was something I had thought of while listening to a podcast earlier. Something about like basic functions, something that functions society, right? Has basic implications on how we live day to day. Like without it, if there was an uprising, if grocery stores did not have the food people needed, that would be a huge issue. There's like almost no backup. So that was that idea. I kind of went away from it, just because it felt like maybe the first idea I had isn't the best, which kind of goes against the whole thing that I'm doing here. But it's a process, right? So here I picked drive-through violence. I was gonna write something about like some people getting upset in drive-through, there being a lot of things going on in different people's lives, right? You have the person who's just finishing their order, the person who's getting their order next, the person behind them, the cook, the teller who's taking, not teller, but whoever that is who takes the money front of house, I guess, a side of house for the drive-through. But as I started writing out what I was thinking, it kept snapping back to that grocery store rebellion idea more than something in a drive-through, right? And it kind of speaks to the value of food. Where are we getting things from? How do we value people around us? What services do we provide to those around us? And so at the end here I wrote a little summary, a scene where a fight breaks out at a drive-thru and a mom and pop are then set on providing affordable food to their neighborhood and community, and they get shut down because they're going against the large grocery stores. So that was the idea. You can see it's kind of separate, like fighting a drive-thru and then rebelling against the grocery store. You'll see when I came up with my new title, Harrison's Market Store, I was totally getting a story about the grocery store rebellion. It was not about the drive-thru. And I think I tried to jam it in at the bottom of the page. I was like, oh, this is not what I set out to write, at least the old topic. But in the edited version I'm about to read, I just took it out. It made no sense. Here we go. So as I'm writing this, I'll do a live reading of the Harrison's Market Store. And yeah, so I wrote this on June 29th, 2026. Let me get a good cough in here. Alright, this is the Harrison's Market Store by Alex Hunter. This reminds me of Europe, a woman said, her arms heavy with thick cloth bags. She was the kind that had the look of money, who could afford the top stuff at the fancy stores, who didn't need the hassle of what the Harrisons were selling. But she did so because it made her feel like there was something real and textured in her life. The hardest part, at first, was letting those that tried to return the food, that the food they bought wasn't spoiled. It just had skin that had gone wrinkly, or a tomato that had grown a dark spot, letting them know that it was, in fact, still fine, just limp and slightly brown, was the first big part of their business. They sold whatever had come up that morning, or the morning before, inside of Miss Harrison's garden. Some weeks it was hundreds of pounds of squash, in a single plastic bucket of radishes. Other weeks, as that one was looking to be, There was just enough of everything to fill the folding tables in the garage with a beautiful rainbowic display. There wasn't a single item that was priced over $1, and that made the Harrisons smile. Just because the pippin squash was as big as a head didn't mean that it was worth more than a set of cherry tomatoes. They met neighbors who had been cloistered away for decades, and like the rich woman, people from the other side of the tracks, without the space in the yard or in their heads to do much growing. They started the business out of that garage after finding their garden produce filling more jars than they could process in a day. The price of the jars was adding up, as was the water bill. "We don't have the legs to keep moving like this," Mr. Harrison had said. They both knew the wallet didn't have the buck for it either. The grocery stores had become drive-thrus, food dipped in plastic and sealed with poisoned gases, passed over in exchange for exactly as much as people were tested and confirmed to be willing to pay. Their store was much better. Nothing other than fresh food was sold, which turned out to be their problem. You can see it ends on a little cliffhanger. Something's going to happen next. What's the problem? Who comes? I think in my head it's, somebody tries to shut them down because they're not in the league of grocery stores or something. And they're trying to do their own thing, right? Right now we have laws that allow for farmers markets and people to sell food out of their homes. But I could easily see a world where that's taken away. And while to most people that might not affect their lives, and they might say, maybe there's like a public health and safety reason to shut those kind of things down because the food can't be monitored, it can't be inspected. What you're also doing by shutting something like that down is preventing alternate paths for people to get food. So it kind of focuses on the strength of having a diverse sources of nutrients, essentially. And yeah, I'll wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. This was Alex Hunter with Writing Workout and Harrison's Market Store. See you at the next one. Oh, and also if you want more, check out my Substack, acbc.substack.com. I do a little writing piece with each video we post. Nothing much, just a paragraph or two. And I'd love to see you over there. So become a subscriber and I'll see you next week.